We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city. We built this city. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Ow! What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is up? How are y'all doing today? It is Wednesday, and that means we are here to talk about Daredevil Season 1, Episode 4. We're on 4 already. My goodness. Let me get this up here. We're on Episode 4 for Daredevil. I am your host, Emmanuel E-Man Noisette. I want to thank y'all for making it out tonight. And I do want to give you guys a quick shout out real quick that, hey, spoiler alert, okay? We are going to be reacting and talking about Episode 4 for Daredevil, Episode 4, Season 1. So please, if you have not watched the episode, listen, I really enjoy y'all company, but go on somewhere, okay? Go on somewhere. Go watch the episode. Come on back. Catch it on replay. It's all good either way, but or if you just don't care about spoilers, welcome. All right, we are going to talk about the episode, but let's see who made it out tonight. Let's see. Dex of Reason, what is up? Appreciate you coming through. Paulette, hello. GD is hanging out later on the replay gang. Shout out to them. Corey, what is up? Good to see you. Degenerate, what is up? DePaul, hello. My man Mo is here. MC Harris, hello. Mitch is back. What's up? My man Minister Crush, how you doing, sir? Treese, appreciate you coming through. We got Mama J here. Always a pleasure. We got Theo, what is up? Good to see you. Tyra, good to see you as well. My man Lou is here. What is up? Dion, how you doing, man? Thank you so much. And yes, performances was definitely on point tonight with that episode. Eugene, hello. Kristen, hello. Terrence, good to see you. AJ, appreciate you coming back. T-Ville, always a pleasure. Steven, there we go. Steven, what's up? Holding it down for the Mod Squad. Kristen, thank you so much. Andrew, good to see you. Yolanda, what's up? And Juan, how are you doing? All right, guys, let's get to it. We have yet another episode of the Dare to the Devil, and we are going to go over that. And let's see, what are we going to start off with? So as you guys recall, man, Hector is gone. Hector Ayala has met his fate, unfortunately. And last time we saw it, it was from somebody wearing the Punisher uniform. So we're assuming it probably is one of those, dirty cops or whatever. And we also see the amulet here, by the way. This is his amulet, which supposedly gives him his powers. Now, here's the thing. I think I heard maybe the director of the episode or something like that. If you look closely, the eyes on the amulet kind of sort of shine just a little bit. Like they kind of, you get a little something, and look why. Look at why. Angela, Hector's niece, is coming around. So this is more than likely a little bit of confirmation that, this amulet, which in the comics really only worked within Hector's bloodline, his family, is probably signaling that, yeah, Angela, you the next one, or just the fact that somebody is in his family is around, because if I'm not mistaken, and somebody correct me, it was not only was his niece also the White Tiger, but I think his sister, Hector's sister, also played took up the role of White Tiger as well. So just maybe an Easter egg of something there. But anyway, Matt, he's over here talking to the coroner about Hector's homicide case, and he finds out that the casing for the bullet is missing. And we do see, obviously, Angela coming in, and she's like upset, And by the way, like, shout out to the actors here. Like, look at the little girl. I don't know her name, but she over here acting, okay? Got the watery eyeballs and everything. But she's demanding justice for her uncle. And she also believes that the police had something to do with it. She believes that. And she's telling Matt, like, yo, Like, she hates this city, even if the city was built on rock and roll, she hates this city. Okay. She hates this city. But she also hates how no one is doing anything about it, And if you think about it, this could be triggering for someone like Matt, because he's sitting here like, yo, somebody is going to find out what happened to his killer. And now obviously he's referring to himself, but this could be triggering for him, because if you recall, this is very similar injustice that Matt went through with his own dad, being killed with no justice. So, it's also one of the reasons why Matt became a vigilante. Like, yes, he became a lawyer to try and use the system, but the system did not always work. So Angela here, I think, is serving as a very good reminder for Matt on why he needs to stop playing around and get back in the suit. Okay, get right back in the Daredevil suit, if you don't mind, please and thank you. Now we do see now that the graffiti that we've seen in the city, that has definitely been by Muse, right? We see the signature at the bottom. You also see it with the Punisher symbol here. But now we know that it is definitely coming from Muse. And let's see. He also, because I think, like, did he use the blood on this one? No, I don't think he did on this one. But like, usually, at least in the comics, and maybe he did with this here, he would use the blood of his victims as paint, basically, which was very twisted. But anyway, we do get a shot of Muse here. Now I think a lot of the people out there were already guessing that that weirdo dude that was in Heather's book signing, that's probably Muse, right? Like, that's it. It couldn't be more obvious. You're gonna have a whole weird dude coming in there, twitching and just acting all strange and stuff. Yeah, clearly you're probably Muse. But we do get a look at him here. Now we also see BB. Okay, BB is out here working her magic on little Daniel in the club, because she's basically trying to get him drunk, and the plan is working because he's divulging all this information about what the mayor's trying to do, busting up unions and stuff like that. And I mean, he gets his little taxi or whatever, but she got what she needed. And while this is happening, he's leaving the club. We also see a man here being arrested after stealing a box of like some caramel corn or whatever, the fiddle faddles, or whatever. And we'll come back to that. Kirsten, she gives Matt a call, asks for some help with a client called Leroy. Then we go back to therapy with Fisk and Vanessa. And they're talking now about Vanessa's affair. Now, this is obviously a very tough subject. For her, she didn't know if Fisk was ever going to come back. Then, the Heather go ask her like, well, why? Like, why Adam? Why did you choose Adam of all people? Now, do I have a picture of it? Look at her face. Look at her face. You see that smile? This is where Vanessa effed up. Okay, she has messed up right here. She said it was his hands. Okay, she said it was his hands. Look, she might as well have just gone and said it was everything else. Okay, the way she said it was his hands. Now, she was referring to the artwork, right? Because she's an art fanatic, but the way she was, I don't know, she was a little too happy with his hands and how good he was with his hands, okay? And the look on her face, you could see she got caught up. And the fact that she got caught in that pleasure zone for a little too long, you got to stop, okay? You got to remember that when you're sitting here talking about when you was being, just caught up, okay? You was in the wrong doing your infidelity or whatever. You have to remember to think about those moments like they were the most terrible moments of your life. She should have been like, ugh, I don't know. It was his hands. Ugh, I don't like those hands no more. You sit next to a killer. Okay, that's why I'm saying this. I'm saying this to protect Vanessa. You sitting next to a killer, and you gonna sit here and reminisce? You gonna reminisce about this man's hands? You can't think about this man's hands like it was the good old days, especially in front of your partner. I'm just saying, you messing up right there, especially with this dude. Look at his face. Look at his face. Now we also find out that Vanessa was triggered by Fisk's disappearance because it reminded her of her own father. Now, recall, Fisk has his own fair share of daddy issues, right? Like, it's literally why he is as messed up as he is today, because of his own daddy issues. But we do start to find out, and he finds out here too, that was what triggered her. But in a strange way, it's probably also what attracted her to him as well. How, like, y'all, what do they call it? Trauma bonding. It might have been that. Like, oh, you got daddy issues? Okay, all right. Now you looking a little better to me. Now, that's probably how they got together. But like I said, Fisk didn't know about this with her. And when Fisk was asked about meeting with Adam, he was like, "Oh yeah, we had words. I mean, we had a dialogue. Look at Vanessa's face. Vanessa was like, hold on. You see how she adjusted her face? She was like, y'all had word? Really? Y'all had words? That's it? She already don't believe him. You see it? They had to clear up her face. That's all you had with this man that I just talked about his hands? That all you had was a dialogue? I just love the fact that her face said a whole lot right there. But she was like, bro, you don't dialogue with nobody, and now he did say that, like, yeah, in this dialogue, we talked, and I talked about how much I love you and how much you mean to me and you all in my world and all that stuff. But here's the thing. Fisk probably was not lying. I don't think he was lying at all when he said that those were the things that he told to Adam. He probably was right. Now, what he did not say is all the other stuff that went down with him and Adam. Now, we'll get to that later, but it was kind of funny how the therapist was like, Heather was like, yo, like, so what happened to Adam? And they both was like, I don't know. Now, the funny thing is, only one of them is lying. Okay, and we already know who that is. But we also see here, Heather was like, listen, and she's dropping some truth bombs here. She's like, the only way y'all gonna move forward is if you guys actually forgive each other. And that is true, right? Like, whatever relationship you're in, married, just with somebody, whatever, if there is a conflict, if somebody did the other person wrong, you're never going to move forward unless there is true forgiveness, and true forgiveness goes both ways. Now, that is critical here because we don't know if Fisk is able to truly forgive Vanessa, and we don't know if Vanessa can truly forgive Fisk for leaving her, abandoning her, etc. Because honestly, if you're not able to forgive your partner for doing something wrong to you, y'all gonna have that bitterness, and it's only going to grow and fester over time. Okay. And forgiveness means, on one end, you actually mean, like you actually mean a real contrition, like you really do feel bad and stuff like that. But you have to actually let that thing go. Okay. You have to take that pain and excuse it. Doesn't mean you forget it, but you got to excuse it, because otherwise y'all just gonna keep going round and round. So I like the fact that they did get that real advice, to help their marriage. And but then we also saw Heather pull Vanessa to the side, and she was like, listen, you gonna be all right, because Fisk, he could be a scary guy. Vanessa was like, Ah, who Fisk? Fisk ain't gonna do nothing. Okay, Fisk gonna do a lot of things. One thing he not gonna do is mess with his Vanessa. He is definitely not going to touch her in any type of way. So I like the fact that they did mention that. Now we do meet Leroy. Okay, Matt ends up meeting Leroy, and Leroy is, remember, he's the guy that was accused of stealing. And Leroy, he denies all the allegations. He was like, listen, man, it wasn't me. Okay, I didn't do it. And Matt was like, bro, they got you on camera stealing. And, Leroy was like, man, but what about them cops? Them cops were sitting there eating the stolen food, but no one want to do anything about that. And, listen, he's not wrong. How you going to eat the stolen stuff? That's like a cop stealing stolen money. Like, two wrongs don't make a right. And I did like the fact that he mentioned, he was like, man, maybe it was a scroll, right? Shout out to the MCU trying to revive the disaster of whatever Secret Invasion was supposed to be. I'm surprised that they even still, this is the only time anyone has even mentioned a scroll. Could you imagine? Because we talked about this, living in the MCU versus the Invincible and stuff like that. You got whole aliens walking amongst you that can shapeshift. Why is this not a phase? Why is this not a phase in the MCU? Why is this literally a throwaway talking point? Maybe Skrulls are walking around. What? Why is the MCU not insane right now? I'm saying, where are the cults? Where are the domestic terrorist groups? Where are the crazy folks that are like, you a Skrull, everybody is Skrull? This is ridiculous. Once again, just saying, I know that they put that in for like a little cheap laugh, but it is such a waste of storytelling potential to just throw this away. Because even Matt was like, nah, it ain't no Skrull. Nah, like, bro, come on now. But yeah, Leroy was tripping at this point, because he also told Matt, like, yo, I need you to go get me probation, and Matt was like, you a repeat offender. Like, you literally got caught doing this before. What do you mean probation? He's like, listen, you'll be lucky if you can get 30 days, So, of course, he was like, nah, man, you my lawyer, go get me probation. So Matt was like, all right. And he was cracking hella jokes on Matt, so that was funny too. But Matt does meet up with the DA. Matt gonna do what he do, put on his little charm. He convinces her to actually go from 30 days all the way down to 10 days in jail. Again, despite the fact that Leroy is a whole repeat offender. So now Matt, he runs into Officer Powell again, and now he starts to kind of goad him into confessing whether Powell had anything to do with Hector's murder. Now Powell, he gets all up in Matt's face, pushes his badge all on him and everything, trying to intimidate him. But Matt at this point, he can hear the heartbeat of Powell and realize that Powell really was not lying. He did not have anything to do with Powell's murder. And by the way, let me just say, shout out to this show showing and enhancing Matt's abilities the way that I think is what we would expect. I like this. I like the fact that you're zooming in, you're focusing out, like you're doing all these little camera tricks really to emphasize this is how Matt lives and walks in this world. So I do like that we're getting more of that. And one more time, it was funny how Powell, he did try to trip Matt up by bringing up some legal threats or whatever. And Matt just kind of jabbed back at him, was like, yeah, we don't believe you, man. Next time, we need you to bring more people. Okay. Because remember the fact that I whooped your tail that whole time before. And yeah, don't forget about that. Don't forget that. Let's see. Let me get okay. All right. AJ, I'm gonna get to your question in a sec. I'm gonna wait until I'll get to that when we get to that part. So I'm gonna jump back to that. All right, let's see. Okay, so yeah, we got this. We got Buddy trying to size up Matt. That clearly was not working. Okay, now we got Fisk. Now he's at Red Hook. Now keep in mind, this is the same place where the gang murder happened. And basically, this is a sore spot for the city. This is an area of the city that nobody really likes. It's crime infested. It's just really bad. But Fisk, he really wants to transform this whole area. He really has I mean, he even bought the little model out and everything. He really has big ideas. He's like, yeah, we finna do this, we gonna do that, we gonna change this, change that. And Sheila was like, what, sir, that ain't how it work. Okay, that's not how things go around here. And she tells him about all the red tape and all the issues that will he's gonna come across. And you know, I like how she even mentioned how she knows how Fisk is used to doing things in other ways, which is interesting because it really just speaks to the fact that it's no secret that Fisk has a reputation. In other words, people know this dude was a whole mobster. People know this dude was a whole felon, killer, etc. And it's interesting, I think, how they're just conveniently turning a blind eye to the fact that this man was a whole felon. Okay, this elected official being a felon, people are just ignoring that. Now, Fisk, he don't like none of this. Okay, he was like, man, I don't want to hear about all these hurdles. Just make it happen, right? Because that's just the way he wants things to go. Now we go back to Leroy and Matt. Man, Matt feels like he got some good news. He's like, man, I got these I got you 10 days, you know what I'm saying? But Leroy ain't trying to hear that, you know, and Matt, he is like, man, are you nuts? Are you crazy? Like, dude, I said you got 10 days from 30. And Leroy had to let him know. He was like, man, the last time I was in jail, I missed my appointment that would have let me get my food stamps. And because I couldn't get my food stamps, I had to go eat out of garbage and beg for money. And he said that he had to end up stealing that caramel corn really just because it tastes good. And he just missed having something that just tastes good. You know, he just wanted a dessert. And, you know, the city was willing to pay 5 to 10 times more money just to punish him, throw him in jail, rather than just trying to find another way to feed him. Because again, if the city just fed this man, did not let him go to this extent of poverty, maybe he wouldn't have had to be driven to steal. And the irony in all this is Matt coming in talking about, guess what I have? Even more jail time. First of all, kudos to this actor. I don't have his name, but my man, he really put on a good performance here to go from where he was. But I want you to look at Matt's face, because Matt was looking pretty salty here, because he was like, man, Leroy, that boy Leroy is dropping some facts. You know, he's doing, he did not lie, you know. And I gotta say, if we're being honest, okay, because I can't speak for y'all, I don't know. But Leroy was getting on my damn nerves. Okay. When Leroy was sitting here talking about like why I want probation, I was like, Negro, please. You are a whole convicted like you're a multiple time offender. You know, now I'm just a bystander, but I'm sitting here thinking I'm going to look at the crime and the fact that you committed a crime more than one time, right? But I'm coming from a place of not knowing this man's full story. Now, I'm not excusing his behavior. However, I do think that it is a testimony to how bad our system can be, where we have more attention, more money, more energy in punishment rather than not only rehabilitation, but more so just supporting our everyday man and woman. If our country, if the MCU in this case, spent more time, energy, and money in actually making sure, I don't know, the wealth gap wasn't so wide, or I don't know, resources like healthcare or food or shelter was available for people, or a honest livable wage was able to be done, maybe people wouldn't resort to having to do crimes, because according to the data, there is a direct correlation with poverty and crime. In other words, people will do bad things when they don't have any options. If you are poor and you don't know how to get around and you don't have nothing, you'll be driven to the brink. So I like this scene a lot because it challenged me. Okay, this scene, I was hard on Leroy at first. I was like, man, Leroy, you better stop. You better take them 10 days. But my man explained it in a way that added more context, and I appreciate that. I thought that was really good writing. I really like that. And when he mentioned that whole, like, y'all would pay more money to put me in jail rather than just feed me, I was like, ooh, yeah, that's something. That is something. But to keep in mind, once again, this is why Matt became Daredevil, because the system does not work. The system is faulty. So, Matt's like, man, brother got a point right there. Now we get to probably one of the best parts, and that's where Fisk has to go start doing his mayoral duties, and that includes listening to these kids. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. And I think Fisk's face and my face were the exact same, and they was bogus as hell for letting this scene drag on. They let this scene drag on so we too could feel what Fisk was feeling this entire time. So I love this scene. I mean, this is what I like. I like it if you're going to add a little bit of humor, but you're not going to make it wacky. I like this. This was levity. This is how you do it. Sprinkle it in there, right? So that was perfect. And them kids were terrible. Okay, because I want you to look at Fisk's face. The whole time he was thinking two things. One, when can this stop? And two, FTK. Okay, Fisk didn't care nothing about these kids. Okay, and you can tell when he got the news. Well, we do see here that the leak happened, and we find out that Daniel finally realized that club scene was messed up for him, and that he was the leak or whatever. He apologized and all that stuff, but you see Fisk was like, hey, we out of here. We got to go right now. They had a whole nother course. They had some more bars for him. He was like, nah, man, we out of here. We got to leave. But as he's leaving, that's where Sheila ends up telling him about the leak that happened, and Fisk is big mad. He don't like this at all. This is just bad, and he wants to get to the bottom of it. Now, before we get on to that, let me grab these comments. I got AJ, what you got? Let me tell you something, E-Man. I almost died this episode. I laughed so hard when Fisk was listening in agony to them kids singing Only to Go Another Meeting and have grown people from Latvia singing the same song. Man, that was really well done. That was really, really well done. I loved that as well. Hilarious. Thank you so much. I appreciate you supporting the channel like that. Thank you, AJ. We got Mike. I need Leroy's confidence the next time I'm in court. I'll be sweating just paying my property tax. Habitual line stepper energy. When I tell you this man didn't even blink. I want probation. I think he knew how outrageous that was, given the confines of the system, given how things typically work. But this man wanted to proclaim this. He wanted to make sure that you know what I want. I want that. But it's impossible. I don't care. I don't care. Get me probation. Now, here's the funny thing. I thought he was going to say something. Did he mention anything about like a kid, a daughter, or something like that? Because I thought that's where he was going to go. Like when he kept saying, like, man, I can't go to jail. I can't go back. I was like, he's got to have some other, like his child or something was like in the hospital and he had to make it in time. Like I thought it was going to be something bigger. But this man was just like, nah, the system is corrupt. This is trash. I wanted my fiddle faddle, and that's it. I respect his energy. I respect his energy. So yeah, but thank you for that, Mike. I appreciate you. All right, where else do we have? So yeah, Fisk, he is big mad over this leak, does not like it. And he had to deal with do I have a picture? Oh, I don't have the picture of him. Oh man. Yeah, the Latvian people. Now, I think they said they were Latvia. Now, I don't know if this is like the MCU's version of Latveria, because Latveria is where Dr. Doom is from. Latvia, that might be a different country. So I don't know. And maybe I read this wrong. Maybe y'all saw the captions or something. I didn't have captions on mine, but I could have sworn they were saying Latvia. But if I'm not mistaken, in the comics, Doom is from Latveria, I think. Somebody double check me just in case. But if that is a Dr. Doom reference, I'm here for it either way. It's not like a big surprise at this point. So no, I do listen. Hold on. I do know Latvia is a real place. I do know that. I'm saying I don't know if the MCU is using Latvia as a substitute for Latveria. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so I know some country. I know a little geography. Okay, I know a little bit. But I'm saying I don't know if they're playing cute with the names or whatever because they sound similar. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if they're doing that. But maybe, I don't know, maybe we do know Doom is coming, so we'll just have to wait and see if there's confirmation. Let's see. Yeah, because thank you, Kristen, for that. Because the DA, she also is from Latvia or something like that. So at least that was there. Wait, what? That song was not correct. San Francisco's built on rock and roll. NYC was built on bebop. Sorry, off top. Okay. I mean, I don't think anyone is going to argue for that song, so that's fine. That's cool. Thank you for that support. I appreciate you. All right, so Fisk only got even more pissed off with these people singing all in his office or whatever. And he is having a meeting right now, and the staff meeting is not okay because he is going off on everybody, pissed off about the leak. But Daniel ends up admitting to the leak. He profusely apologizes and pledges his loyalty to Fisk. And would you look at that? Interestingly enough, that's all it takes. So I want you to understand this here. This politician who is convicted of felonies instantly forgives his staff member who pledges undying loyalty to him. That's all it takes. All it takes. Just pledge your loyalty, and this convicted felon who is a politician loves it. Loves it. Now, you can see the look on Sheila's face, because Sheila's face looked like my face. I was like, oh, Daniel finna die. Like, that's it. It's a wrap. But when Fisk was like, okay, You in there, but if you ever do this again. Now, the only thing is, I don't know what he meant. What did Fisk mean if he said, if you ever make that, like, never make this mistake again? What did he mean? Because at this point, I don't know if he meant, Daniel, you gonna get fired, or Daniel, you gonna come up missing. It might actually be the same thing. I don't know. But Sheila's face absolutely said it all with that fear in her eyes, because I think you started to see a flash of Kingpin. Again, keep in mind, everybody knows his past. Everybody knows what this man is about. And the fact that he's putting out this threat like this, Now, we move forward, and Matt, he's out here investigating the crime scene where Hector was, where he was shot. He uses his senses, to hear the bottle, just to see like how the trajectory and all this stuff. And he ends up finding the bullet casing that was there. And it's real interesting how the police just so happened couldn't find anything there, but a blind superhero could. But he feels the bullet casing, and he notices obviously what's on there, and he leaves. He goes off to see an old friend, and boom, he's met up with Frank Castle. And we see here that Frank and he's been taking some meds or something. I don't know what kind of meds Frank is taking, but I don't know if that's good or not. But we also see here that the bullet casing had the logo of the Punisher on there, and Frank already knew. He was like, oh, was it them like police fanboys? So he already knew that. And you can already tell he don't respect them, right? You can already tell that. And I thought it was funny how Matt was like, man, Frank, you could be out here helping people. And Frank was like, man, do you not see my work? Do you not see all these mofos I took off the board? Like, are you crazy? I am working. I'm always working, But Matt, Frank called Matt out and said that he was only here looking for permission to kill somebody, right? And like he's looking for Frank to kind of confirm his bias, maybe to give him the okay to rationalize or maybe justify the dark thoughts that Matt is already thinking. And it's kind of like, I mean, this is kind of a situation where, let's say you got into it with somebody and you ready to throw some hands, right? You don't care how it goes down. You just ready to throw hands. So what do? Because you're a peaceful person. You don't want to get into a fight with nobody, but that person did you wrong and they deserve a beatdown. So what do? You go to your one crazy friend. You go to your one crazy friend who's always down, who's always ready to scrap, who's ready at the moment, just on site. If you say it's on, that friend is right there. So you go to that crazy friend to be like, what you think? You think we should go scrap? So that's basically what Matt is doing right now. He's going to Frank, and I love the fact that Frank already can see that. Frank can see through that immediately. He was like, man, I know why you here. You just want me to get an okay. That's all it is. So I love the fact that he called him out on that. And Frank brought up the fact that, Matt had his friend die, and it was funny because if you saw it, like Matt smacked him real fast and he quickly apologized. Let me tell y'all something. MCU or not, whatever. If I accidentally breathe on the Punisher and he don't like that, I'm immediately apologizing as well. He is the last person on earth that you want to get upset, But at the same time, Punisher was kind of, Frank was kind of pushing Matt. Like this was some like real tough love type of therapy going on, and he was like, yo, you got to confront the fact that you've been holding on to all this grief. And if you think about it, that's what Matt has been going through. It's unprocessed grief over Feige's death. Keep in mind, this has also been, I want to say it's been like almost a year or 6 months to a year after Feige died. So Matt has not really, he hadn't even said Feige's name until episode 4. So it's really been a long time. And of course, of all people, Frank can relate to him, right? Frank is somebody who knows all too well about unprocessed grief and anger and rage. So, I mean, Matt did find the right one. He found the right one, and he's lucky Frank let that slap slide. Okay? Because Frank was like, oh, okay, like whatever, you took it on the chin, like, all right, like I see you, but he got lucky with that one. Okay. But yeah, Matt, as we see, he's breaking down because again, he can finally let this out. He can finally let his grief for Feige out because that's what's really been holding him back ever since the very first episode. And we go back to Vanessa and Frank Fisk, and we see that they're now getting a little bit closer. Remember, they were sitting on opposite ends of the table, so it is kind of nice to see them, getting a little bit closer. Maybe therapy is working or the counseling. But we finally got it. I don't know if y'all caught it, but we finally got it. We finally got another "When I Was a Boy" story from Fisk. So I was kind of happy that we got that. And we also learned that Fisk's father taught him all these lessons throughout life, but forgiveness was not one of them. And I thought that was pretty revealing of his character to kind of show this, that basically he's like, listen, I'm trying. Okay. I'm not somebody who forgives. I'm somebody that, oh, you did me wrong. Oh, you insulted Vanessa. No, I'm coming for you. Like, that's it, right? Your head is going through this table. So the fact that he's able to hold his composure and he's trying to forgive Vanessa for her infidelity, he's like, listen, you're going to have to work with me here, please. Now, Vanessa, she's like, all right, I guess, whatever. Matt goes home. He finds Heather's already there. She wants some late night coffee real quick. You know what I'm saying? But Matt can't sleep. I mean, he got some coffee, but he can't sleep. And Fisk, he can't sleep either. And we see both of them are kind of dipping their toes back into their old lives. Fisk finally, or we see Matt going into his closet. We got all the masks from Daredevil in his uniform and stuff. He even got his weapons out, doing his training. And finally, my man Fisk got an upgrade to his dinner menu. Because we saw he was eating all them omelets and a piece of asparagus. I'm like, bro, you too big not to be hungry after eating that air omelet. Stop it. This is what this man is really eating late at night. Okay. And man, listen, I don't know about y'all, but this definitely got me, mouth salivating. That what is that? Some pasta with some sausages and stuff. Man, Fisk was eating pretty good. He was eating real good. And now we finally know why Fisk's hands were so bloody last time. And yes, we also know that Adam has been held captive this whole time. This man has held this dude captive ever since he came back. And he got the nerve to sit there and eat all that food. You know what this did? This gave me the same vibes as Game of Thrones. Remember, what was Buddy's name? It wasn't Joffrey. It wasn't Joffrey. Remember, what was the other dude's name that was making fun of Reek? He was making fun of Reek and he was eating the sausage, all in front of him and stuff. Y'all, Ramsay. Thank you, Ramsay Bolton. This had Ramsay Bolton energy. This was Bolton energy through and through. Okay. And Adam, man, just change his name. We ain't calling him Adam no more. He is Reek. He is now Reek. That is his new name at this point. Because this man, we don't know how long he been there. We don't know what he been doing. Like this man, call this man Reek right now. Okay. He is done. It's done. And he gonna eat them sausages in front of him. And you know he hungry. You know he putting a new name, a new spin on starving artists. And to eat in front of him like that, yikes. But now we fast forward, and I hate the fact it had to be a brother. Why did it have to be a brother? Brother got caught up by Muse, brought into his secret hideaway, and we see here that Muse is out here draining people of their blood because, again, that is what he paints with. And we see that, yes, Muse is probably going to be a problem moving forward. And that was the end of the episode. All right. Let's see. We're now at the point where I'm going to give you guys what I thought about this episode. And in the meantime, I need you guys to let me know, what did you think about the episode on the scale from 0 to 10? While you guys are doing that, I will give you my thoughts. So this, to me, was a nice continuation of the Law and Order vibe that we got from the last episode. Not as much action, like we're 4 episodes in and Matt ain't touched the costume yet, right? I mean, he did in the first episode, but they're taking their time. Slower paced, which isn't terrible, but at the same time, I like the critiques. I like the themes of forgiveness. I like the themes of how bad the system is, and how it's not working. The performances were very strong. I did think that the performances from Leroy, the performances from the little girl that plays Angela, like, good job. Nice to see Punisher. I will say it was a little deflating to see Punisher and he ain't punished nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? That's like showing the Hulk and he don't smash not a thing. But other than that, I do think that this is a solid episode. Not as good as like the previous ones. So I think I'll 8. I think I'm gonna go with a 7.5, 8. It wasn't bad. Like, I wasn't mad about it. I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna be nice. I'll give it an 8. I liked it. I liked the episode. I think it could have been better, but I liked it overall. Good writing, good themes, good acting. You really can't ask for more than that. I mean, you could, but So anyway, let's see, where have the people fallen? Where do y'all reside on this issue? We got a 9.5, 9.5, 7, 8.5, 9.5, 9, 7.7, 8.5, 7, 8, 9, 8.5, 9. Ma'am, we are rounding down to 10. Thank you. 8.5, 7.5, 7, 8, 6.3, 7.8. What is this? 7.5. Got an 8. Got a 9. Got an 8.5. Do I got any more? I got a 6.8. Okay. So not the strongest episode, but it wasn't bad. I think we overall liked it, right? I actually kind of thought that they were going to give us 2 episodes, because I do know, I can at least tell y'all this. To me, I would not have high expectations for episode 5. Bring it down. So I'm just letting y'all know now. Don't get excited. Episode 5, bring it down. Just bring it down now. Okay. Now some of y'all might still like it. I'm just saying, I don't know if overall it's going to be one of the strongest episodes. So take that how you will. Anyway, guys, I want to thank y'all so much for taking the time to hang out with me, talk about this. Really do appreciate it. We will be here again next week around the same time to talk about episode 5. I think they're doing 5 and 6 together. I could be mistaken, but at least we'll talk about episode 5. And then of course we got the live chat on Friday, so make sure you're there. We got a couple things that we do need to talk about. I think that covers it. I think we're good on everything else for that. Oh, do I want to talk about? I'm not going to talk about it. But anyway, all right, guys. Again, thank you so much. Have a fantastic rest of your week. If I don't see you, you know the routine. Wash your hands, wash your butts, and everything in between. And until next time, see you guys later. Peace.